Oh, good night, good night. Okay, I had to restart this live because my fire alarm was going crazy. But I am back. And even my YouTube video stopped. The hell? Okay, yes. So I am back. Let me restart my video. I had to discard the last video I did. Sorry, I usually do record videos for YouTube, but I do it from my live. Just so that I can reach some of my Instagram followers as well and kind of talk about things that are on my chest. So, as I was saying, where do I start? Yes. So, what I have been going through for a year, obviously, my entire YouTube is just documenting my story. What is this? My story and my journey with having been gang stalked by a man named John Ferreira, who triangulated and used all my social networks against me, not just to research me and get information about me, but for people to kind of walk me down the aisle of the plane to put drugs on a suitcase and then get paid off of me doing that. And obviously, I was not in agreement with that. So, after a year of dealing with, I guess, what is like a whole process, a whole routine that they have to all their tricks, basically, to get you to agree, whether willingly or unwillingly, to participate in this lifestyle. After I have gone through a year of this kind of toxic behavior, this bullying, this abuse at the hands of the entire Toronto, because I have a very popular store. So there's a lot of people who know me. I'm very chill with a lot of people. I'm chill with everybody, actually. I really have no issues with anybody but a hater, of which there were many, because people just didn't like the fact that I did well. Even though I work hard, I stay out the way, I don't talk about anyone, I don't have any issues with anyone. But there have always been people, and I mean, that comes with life. That is what it is. If you're doing well in life, there's going to be people. Even if you're not even doing well, there's going to be people that are going to have issues, because nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has something going on. But this is what was on my heart to talk about today, because a lot of my YouTube posts have been about the whole process of gang stalking and things to watch out for and things to look for and whatever, and I try to talk about like different aspects of it. I like to kind of cover and touch, like, eventually I'll touch everything that I know from the whole process, just so that people can kind of clue in and figure out, like, if they're going through the situation, what to look out for, what they can do, and hopefully they can get out of that situation a lot faster than I had to, because it took a year to see a lot of stuff. And not just a year to see a lot of stuff. I saw pretty much a lot of the tricks up front, but it took a long time to get to the place that I am today. So it's part of what I'm going to talk about. So what's been on my chest from the time I made the video about forgiveness, which in this situation, the forgiveness is really going to take a very, 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 very long, you know what, let me not say that. I don't know how long the forgiveness part is going to take. I don't know how long. But what I do know is that I don't want my anger to get the best of me. Obviously, I'm livid. I am outraged. Obviously. Like, don't let the smile fool you. I go through day to day and I'm fairly peaceful and, when nothing's going wrong or whatever. But the minute I really sit down and I'm like, man, the audacity. It really it gets under my skin. And I'm just one of those people where, I don't know, everybody's different when it comes to stuff like this. But for me, it's like, certain things you would expect to piss me off don't piss me off, and then other things piss me off. And it's like, I'm unpredictable that way in the things that really, I think, anyway. in the process, as I was trying to say in my last video, in the process of everything that was going on, in the beginning, very grateful, because I always have an attitude of gratitude, and believe me, I always feel like things happen for a reason. I really, really do. So in the process of everything that was going on, I was very grateful. It was not difficult for me to be grateful to God, because the presence of God is very strong with me. So it's something that I feel all the time. I never feel alone. So it's easy for me to say thank you, thank you, thank you, da 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 da. There was a certain point I got to, and I'm like, listen, come on now. Come on now. Like, this is going on a little long. What are we accomplishing here? If you need me to do something, let me know. Like, am I in the wrong business? Let me know. Like, let me know. We talk all the time. Let me know. What is going on here? What is the purpose of this? So, this is what I want to address. Oftentimes, with spirituality, everybody always talks about it like this perfect situation. And that's the thing, when you really get in touch with God on a personal level, not through church, not through the Bible, none of that. You get in touch with God on a very personal level. You know that God is perfect. Like, you recognize that. It's like hard to find a flaw. And I really mean that. Like, I aspire all the time to fashion myself, my character, after the way, that God is, or that I perceive God to be, right? So it's like, if you really look up to, someone, something, you're not, it's like you don't really, and you know that you feel a lot of love, and you've always been taken care of, and never let you down, always been there for you. You find it, you're not gonna question. It's like, a lot of times I'm like, you know what? There's a purpose, there's a reason, and you don't question it. But there does get a point where sometimes you do start questioning it, because you're like, wait. Like, what I'm going through, I know that you're here, and I know that you're guiding me through it, and I know you're helping me, but like, what's going on? It's very natural. And see, I have a very close relationship with God that feels like a physical relationship, right? But for a lot of people, their relationship with God feels like very hands off, I would say. It feels like they're just talking into the air. And I can understand how, if you're just talking, if you feel like you're just talking to something that's not there, it's not talking back. You're praying, and maybe the prayers are taking a while to be answered. If they get answered at all, you're not really seeing results. I can understand why people would have difficulty with that, or people would have difficulty with believing like God is real. Like, if God is real, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why are we suffering? Why do these things exist? Now, that's for regular people living a regular life. I think this is 10 times more amplified with the John Ferreira cult. I think once people come in contact with that level of evil, absolutely, they're thinking to themselves, there is no God. How can this happen to me if there is a God? Experiencing this energy is like, this is literally evil. Like, I've experienced evil. If this is what Satan feels like, I've experienced Satan. It's crazy. It is like obsessed on a maniac level. Obsessed. To the detriment of its own health, to the detriment of its own money. Because I thought this was about money. This is not about money. If this was about money, people would have ran and go work and get some money, get another contract or something a long time. This is not about money. This is about something else. This is crazy. This is getting abused and not being the focus. Like, a normal person would have walked away from this a long time ago. This is like, nailing your own self to a cross. I don't know what this is. It's crazy. But it is the absolute opposite of what I am. I know that much. It is opposite of what I am. And I can understand. Now, I went through this with protection. I went through this with a very close relationship with God. And in going through this with God, it was still difficult. It was still abusive. The other part of it too is God was like, leave it to me. Don't react. Don't do anything. I think that was the part that was difficult for me. That was the hardest part because I know that, I could hold my own, you know. I know that I got some hands. But it's like, God's like, no, no. So it's like sitting back and allowing all of this crazy stuff to happen to me. And just now, in a way, I understand and I get it because, I had to experience what other people experience. And I was not spared. Even though I was protected, I was not spared. I felt every ounce of some of that stuff, which is crazy. I had to do a lot of work. A lot of work. Had to clean a very big house all the time. It was work. It used to take, in the beginning, 2 hours. And then I brought it down to an hour. It was a lot of work. And it was like, you got to be spiritual to believe the stuff that I'm going to say. But it's like people would spiritually project themselves into my home. And it's like, I just finished cooking, barbecuing. And it's like, and I know he sees me looking at him and he's seeing me like, and I'm just like, yo, I just sat down with my food, or I'm enjoying an evening with my family. And I'm literally sitting there like, wow, I gotta get up from what I'm doing to go cleanse my space. Very aggravating energy, very irritating energy. So I know with other people experiencing this, and worst off, experiencing it and not knowing what the hell they're experiencing, not knowing like what they're going through, not understanding, like all the symptoms of everything that that's going on. Like, why am I sick all of a sudden? Why did my money slow down? Why are my kids behaving this way? Like, so much stuff starts going wrong all at once. So I can only understand for people, especially people who already don't have a spiritual background and who don't have faith. I can only understand for those people what they feel and what they're going through. And you already don't have a spiritual background. So it's like, who do you go to for help? You can't go to the police for that. What are you going to go tell the police? Oh, my body's aching and pain. I'm having aches and pains. I'm up all night. I'm not sleeping properly. I have no energy. My energy's being drained. I'm fighting with people all around me. My business just stopped making money. Everybody's turned against me. Like, who do you turn to? You're supposed to turn to God. But the issue is, a lot of the times, is if you didn't have a strong relationship with God before that, and now you come running for help, results may vary. Like, I could never tell anyone for sure, like, you're in a bad situation and you start praying out of the blue. Maybe God might come through if God wanted your attention. Maybe God might not. God might be like, listen, you did enough things and this is karma and you deserve it. You just don't know where you're going to stand in a situation like that. But I'm really talking to people who don't identify themselves as a bad person. Like, if you're a bad person, get out of here. Like, you're a bad person, something bad happened, okay. Like, I can't really address that. Not right now. But I'm saying, if you don't identify as a bad person, you identify as a normal person. You're a normal person. And, normal people, you could go back and forth. You can have some days where you did some things that are not so great. You maybe gossiped about someone. or something like that. And then you have days where you're really great and you help people and you go out of your way for people. So it's like, you're not too bad, but you just try your best, right? Which I think a lot of people are like that. These are the people that I meet that are always asking me, like, how is God real? If God is real, why are we suffering? Like why do these things happen? And I've always ended up around people who've also gotten themselves involved in this same cult, in this same whatever this thing is. And those are the people that I always have issues with. Not issues, but those are the people that always ask me that question, like, how can that be real? Because my faith is strong and I'm always trying to convince people. And to be honest, it's normal to be mad at God, especially when you're at that part of your journey. It is normal to be upset with God. You can't get around it. If you have questions, I think God, and I don't want to speak for God, I'm just giving my perspective, but I think, the Most High is happy to answer questions, especially more so than you not interacting or thinking about God at all. I think you're always in a better situation to have a conversation, whatever the conversation feels like or looks like, and just be upfront and be like, listen, if you're real, why is this happening? When I was going through this situation, I kind of knew why I was going through the situation. I didn't know the whole story till the end, right up front, but I kind of knew why this was happening. And, as things developed, I was getting more and more of it was unfolding. And even with me understanding kind of what I was going through, it was still difficult for me. And I still had questions like, please get me out of this. Like, this is enough now, you know? And they kind of knew I was going to get to that point. So they were kind of like, oh yeah, it's all done. And then no, it wasn't all done. So I just stopped believing them when they're telling me, oh, it's done. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It'll be done when it's done. I don't need to hear this all the time. It's whatever. Like, I'm comfortable in the situation now. It is what it is. But it's like, I can understand for people that it's not a laughing matter. And even me, I don't even know why it's always funny to me. But I can understand for people, it's not a laughing matter. It's intolerable. They don't have the appropriate protection. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to heal themselves. They don't know how to avoid a lot of the bullets that are being sent their way. And I can only understand like how difficult of a journey that is. That's a lot of suffering because you're literally having a lot of things sent at you all at the same time. From issues with employment and making money, a whole bunch of distractions all the time when you're trying to work, when you're trying to take care of yourself, when you're trying to do anything productive. Some lunatic, an overweight lunatic somewhere is like energetically and spiritually fighting you down and sitting in what is probably a very soiled chair, like thinking of every single way to deter you from doing what you're supposed to do, to steal everything from you and enslave you into some crazy concept, some cult, something where you're binded in. It's like human slavery. It's modern day human slavery. That's what they're doing. And they have police in pocket. They have lawyers in pocket. They have judges in pocket. They have all kinds of things in pocket. And it's difficult for you to get out of this situation, if not impossible. It is impossible to get out of this without the Most High, without God. So when you're mad at God, like, you have to think about this. It's like this. God's not the one doing this to you. This is misplaced anger, first of all. God's not the one doing this to you. But imagine going to somebody that you're not even close with and needing help. And because the help is not coming the way you want or in the timing you want, being upset. Now, don't get me wrong. A relationship with the Most High is just like any other relationship. It takes nurturing and it's not always easy. It really isn't. It's not always easy. Even for me, I have moments like one of my more recent moments was with the forgiveness thing. And it's not that I'm fighting God to forgive, but I'm like, listen, Like, the two of us are sitting here, and I'm like, look at this. Look at this. He's literally attacking me right now. You're asking me to forgive something that is attacking me all day, all night. It's not even done, and y'all already starting to talk about forgiveness. But it's like, realistically, I know that the forgiveness is for me. It's not forgiveness is not releasing somebody from what they did to you. I need to forgive it so that I don't block my relationship with the Most High. I need to let it go, and I need to release it so that I can still access God. And I'm getting really angry all the time every time I start thinking about everything that's gone on and everything that's happened. So it's like I have to be responsible, if you will, for like my own relationship with the Most High. You know what I mean? And to be honest, it's not that it blocks me from God necessarily to not forgive, because God is so understanding. God is patient. Like, God gave these people so long to get their stuff together and to leave me alone. Like, so many signs before things started to get crazy. This has been going on for years. And so for when I first got wind of what was going on, that was like 2 years ago. That was a little more than 2 years ago. And things were just flying back. Whatever work they were sending at me, the work was flying back. And this was, like I said, more than 2 years ago. So it's like God is very patient with you. It just has to get louder and louder and louder until you understand the reason why. You don't get the punches right away. Me, because I am familiar with the relationship with God, a lot people think I'm lucky in every way. People think like things just go my way all the time. That's because I listen. I listen early. I take heed. I'm eager to know what is the next step. What do you want me to do? That's why it looks like that. A lot of people don't fucking listen, and then shit goes wrong and they're like, oh, this person always gets what they want. I listen. The first time God comes with the message and says, look, you need to forgive this situation, or you at least need to release it. And I'm like, now I'm at the negotiating table, because I'm like, listen, the forgiveness thing is going to be difficult. But I can release the anger. I could work on releasing anger. I can work on... See, and that's the thing with the walking away, because it's like, how many times did I try to walk away? How many times? And it just kept escalating more and more and more. So it's like, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, it's like turning your back and walking away from a petulant child. And then the more you ignore them, the more volatile their behavior gets. Now they want to start throwing chairs. Now they want to do stuff. Because that's exactly what's happening. It's literally just pettiness. It's nonsense. It's nonsense all the time. It's like the same tricks, the same nonsense over and over and over and over and over and over. And it hasn't worked once, but it backfires every single time. And it's like, this is too much. This is a lot for a person. Now, as I said, I did a year. I know there are other people that have said they've gone through this for 5 years. People that have said they've gone through it for 3 years. Like, I don't know. For me, it's like, I'd have to start raising my hand. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, thank God. God had to pull me out. Because God really needs me. Like, for real. It's a two-way street. It's a co-creation thing. God really needs me. And it's like, you can't leave me in there long and expect me, you can't. And then now it's like, now that you have your downtime, and now that you're relaxing, and all the emotions are bubbling up, and I'm getting re-pissed because I'm retelling the story, then I'm going to hear about some forgive. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to reconcile my thoughts with that. It's going to take It's going to take a lot of explaining and all of that. So it's like, look, I'm not deleting any of my videos spazzing out. I'm not deleting any of that other stuff because I feel like as soon as people talk about God and they project this image of perfection, it's unrealistic for people because I go through the same emotions that other people go through. I just work it out quietly and internally by myself in a corner, and then I reemerge in the world as the best version of myself. Not because I'm pretending, but because I do my work. That's why they call it shadow work. I do my work quietly on my own. So it's like, as soon as and I hate, I don't want to use the word hate, but I don't agree with the Jesus complex where it's like somebody comes and they're perfect in every way and it's like they don't get angry and they don't get frustrated and this and that. Not realistic. Not realistic. What is realistic is to question why this is happening to you. And like I said, luckily for me, I had explanations and I continue to have explanations and I continue to talk to God and God continues to talk back to me and show me things and whatever. You know, I have those moments. And if I'm having those moments and I'm still protected and I'm feeling that way, it's absolutely normal to feel like, what the hell is going on? This is the conclusion that I've come to after thinking about it for a while. I'm not talking about people that used all the bad things that happened to them, people with victim mentality, people that have used every bad thing that has occurred in their life to make them evil. They were born evil. I really believe John Ferrer was born evil. And if he stubbed his toe and nobody was there, he would have still blamed God. I think he was born evil, he was born demonic, he's gonna die demonic, and he's gonna go back to his Luciferian family where he comes from. I truly believe that. That is my explanation. I still cannot think of what could have happened to someone for them to be this unhealed their entire life. So, having experienced that level of evil, I'm not talking to people who are evil. I'm not talking to people who are literally the definition of evil. I'm talking to just normal people who are living their normal life. Now they're stuck in this and they're resentful. Or people who are trying to fight their way out or considering fighting their way out, because it's going to be a fight for you to come out. You got to reconcile with it. If it takes 3 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. You got to leave. You cannot stay there. This thing is being ripped apart, burned to shreds, and gonna not exist anymore. So, hold on. Hello, I'm on live! This is for, as I was saying, for normal people who are the majority of the people that I met. We're just normal people living their life and they got sucked into this little whirlpool of slavery. You have to, first of all, you have to really start developing a relationship with God outside of what you're going through, and you're not like, you need to talk to God. You need to reach out. You need to start talking into the air, whatever it is that you have to do. You need to start a relationship. Every single prayer is heard. People don't believe that, but every single prayer is heard. Every single prayer is heard. A relationship with God is like any other relationship. You wouldn't have a relationship with a spouse, let's say, that you never call. You wouldn't have a relationship with somebody else. Hold on. Guys, I can fully hear you. You wouldn't have a relationship with, somebody that you never call, somebody that you never talk to. Imagine being in a relationship with a guy or a girl, whoever's, gonna watch this. You never call. Calling me, I pray formally, a minimum of twice a day. If you have a spouse and you only reach out just twice a day and you go the whole middle of your day without talking to them, still, it might not be enough. They might feel like it's just a formality. Think about it like that. So when it comes to my relationship with God, I talk to God all day. I talk to God about everything. It's like picking up the phone, or it's like just texting. If you might not be able to talk to your spouse all day, but you might just text them. You know what I mean? And be like, look what this girl's doing now. Or, whatever. I gossip with God all the time. That's who I gossip with. That's who I tell people's business. I mean, she doesn't need to know that, but it's like, I'm still gonna be like, listen, look at this girl. Look at this. Look at this nonsense again today. You know? But I talk to God all the time because I enjoy that. That's enjoyable for me because my relationship is different. I don't expect anybody else to be like that. And literally because of that, it's like people try to say that I'm communicating with spirits and whatnot. It's like because I actually enjoy God. They paint God as like boring, or they paint God as like, I don't know what it is. Like, I guess it's boring is how people see it, but it's like, no. God is hilarious. Hilarious. Has a personality. The kind of things like I'll be laughing in the car. Oh God, yo, listen, and really you gotta talk to people that are tapped in. Not just me. You will literally, like, I will literally just be like yakking on in my car. Just talking to God about this, that, or the third. And God will say something back to me, and I'll be laughing for like 10 minutes straight. Like, I'm not joking. And it's like such a gentle personality, but just the ideal female form to me, like what I would want to be. Like, no nonsense, strong boundaries, so you have a lot of respect for her, but so gentle and so warm and so compassionate and hilarious, like a full-on personality. Like, a lot of people do not experience God in that way. They just think God is like, I don't know, a Bible and a prayer, and you talk and like you don't experience anything back, and it's just like, I don't know. And the other thing I think that people don't do is like really see all the ways God's really in their life, even without the relationship. Like, if I drive up to the mall on Boxing Day and I get a parking spot right at the front of the door, I know that's her. 100% I know that's her. When I pull into that spot, I'm like, thank you. Like, what? I really am saying thank you all the time because, and this is why I think my life is perfect. I really do. Like, I remember I used to watch readings and people used to say, there was at one point, I guess they were talking about my looks at this time. She takes offense to those kind of things on my behalf. Just like you would for your child. You would take offense. Like, if somebody talked about one of my kids, I'd take offense. But it's like, oh, I thought that was cute. So, the readers would be like, and multiple readers, they would be like, oh, you're beautiful just the way that you are. I'm like, I know. Like, sorry, I don't care. Personally, it's like, I already know myself. I've accepted myself. I love myself. I think I'm perfect. I don't, and I'm not saying that to the detriment of anyone. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm not saying I'm more pretty than anyone, no. I'm just saying I think I am perfect the way that I am. I already accept myself. And it's like God's already been communicating these things to me from the time I was a child. Listen, as a child growing up, people were already telling my parents, like, you have a beautiful daughter. Like, it's like, I don't care. Like, but I thought it was cute. I thought it was really nice. I thought it touched me. It meant something. And so there was a period of time that all the readers were calling me the beautiful one. And it's like, those are the kinds of things where it's like, you cultivate a very beautiful relationship. Cause it's like, and I call her the beautiful one already, as she is. I always tell her, you're so beautiful, you're so perfect. So it's like, I don't know, if you have this kind of a relationship that's so warm, that's so loving, and then you have like random people that come around you that, force it because it's not real, that force themselves to make you feel like you don't fit in, you're like, what? course you're not going to take it seriously. I don't know how many people have the kind of relationship with God that I do, but I know that it's a rarity. It is hard to get here. It just took a long time. This took focus to get here and a discipline, and it takes maintenance. It is a high maintenance relationship that is extremely freaking worth it. And if you have the strength to pursue it, if you have the discipline to pursue it, oh God, I can't even explain. It's like there are so many moments. We have moments all the time, all the time. It's like, I know I would describe God as a mother, but it's like a sister, a best friend. It's like, it's ridiculous. I can't even explain it. It is the most satisfying relationship that I have. Look at my face. Every time I talk about it, it's like I light up, like I'm talking about like a crush or something. It is the most amazing relationship that anybody can have. And it's an unbreakable bond. Like no one can really come between that. So for me, it's like if mother says to forgive something or to let something go, I'm going to immediately pull back and I'm going to immediately like check myself and I'm going to work on it. And I'm going to tell her, like, it's going to take work. I'm working on it. It's hard. They don't make it easy. I want to just walk away from it. They won't make it easy. They don't even have control over themselves. I make a live. I'm like minding my business. After the live, I'm getting a whole bunch of work sent at me all night because somebody was mad about something I said. But what I said was the truth. And I just don't know how people have such a difficult relationship with the truth. Like, you're doing it. So it's like, how can you be mad that you're actually doing bad things? It's like, and I remember one of the readings was like, one of the readings was saying, this person sat down and was like, I'm really a bad person. And the reading's like, what do you mean you're really a bad person? Like, you're just figuring out that you're a bad person? What is there not to know? I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Somebody who does this type of spell work doesn't know they're a bad person. Like, please, I'm not, like, I don't have time for that. Listen, at the end of the day, all I can say is this. I had this figured out in my head or planned out in my head for it to go a different way, but this is just the truth. You're not coming out of this without God. Like, so you have to accept that first. You cannot come out of this situation without God. So, once you're done accepting that, you're not coming out on your own. They have people everywhere. They have people everywhere. And who they don't have, they'll just try to bribe and they'll pay. And they're going to do it with money, or they're going to send a woman to sleep with them after they send the sex demons first to infect them. So they're all lusty and ready. Then they'll send a woman, and the woman is going to play with their head, etc., etc. They're going to find themselves doing stupid things. Da 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 da. Whatever the case is, okay? So, you're going to need God to come out of this. You're going to need God. This is not the time. When you're in an inferno, when you're in a horrible situation, this is not the time to start asking questions like, this is what I was going to say. It's like being stranded on a desert island. The odds are super against you. You don't have a phone, you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have network, you have nothing, and they need to find you. And worse, you're on, like, let's say you're in the Cayman Islands or the Bahamas. It's a cluster of islands, okay, a very tiny islands, and they need to find you. It is pointless to be standing on that island and asking, why has no one come yet? How did I end up here? How comes this happened? You need to go find food. You need to find a safe space to sleep. You need to figure out like where is safer to sleep, on the beach or in the woods. Like you need to figure these things out. This is what needs to happen. That's why I talk about meditation. That's why I talk about focusing on your work. That's why I talk about praying and cultivating a relationship with God. It is not the time for you to start thinking about is if there was a God, how comes this happened? This is the wrong way to go. You're pulling yourself further away from your protection than you need to be. What you need to be figuring out is how to stabilize yourself and how to get through these hurdles calmly. That's what you need to be thinking about. How do I stabilize my mind? That is number one. Number two, get comfortable, okay? Because you don't know when the ships are going to make it in. You just don't know. So if the ships never make it in, what are you going to do? You're going to die? Get comfortable. Like now, see, I'm a little bit different and I'll say why. Every single time when I was younger, well, not when I was younger, just in life in general, I would watch movies and let's say, and I really love dystopian literature and I really love like dystopian literature, movies, all of that, where basically it goes the same way all the time. There's a freedom fighter who is the rebel and they're gonna fight the government. They're gonna fight whoever they're gonna fight, some huge massive group. It's like David and Goliath. And I always identify with this character, while the rest of everybody I'm watching the movie with is like, why would they do that? Why would they just not go with the flow? I don't go with the flow. I do whatever the hell I want to do all the time. It is a streak in me. Maybe someone will study my birth chart and tell me what part of my birth chart is responsible for that. But I do what I want to do. I'm dead serious about that, regardless of the consequences. So it's like a switch in my brain. Once it goes off, it's off. We're not switching it back. If I already see that this is where we're going and I don't like it, I'm not going. Because I already see it as, I see not being free to make my own decisions as a worse reality than death. I see living on the run as better than not being free. At least if you're on the run, you decide when you're going to sleep. Nobody's going to call me to come stand in the rain and stand outside of somebody's store. You mad? Me? No. No. No, I'm busy right now. I'm eating. Send the spell work. See you tomorrow. Click. What? I'm not going to do it. I'm too rebellious for that kind of stuff. So it was never going to work. And it is never going to work. And it's like, these little rebels can be a pain. They'll just throw bombs in the side of your buildings and stuff and whatever. It's like, you're annoying, I'm annoying, everybody's annoying, and that's just what it is. It's like, it's never going to be one way. It's a freedom fighter. Freedom fighters are not people that like cower in the corner and roll into a ball. They don't do stuff like that. So I know when I say to people like, hey, this is going to be really tough. It took me a year, leave your cell phone at home, walk with cash. They're like, that's no way to live. The way you're living is no way to live. The way you're living is no way to live. Because if I leave my phone at home and I walk with cash is not a punishment. It's just a way of not being traced. Y'all were using a lot of cash. Everybody uses cash. So if I leave my phone at home, at least I can go wherever the hell I want. I can go away for a weekend and not have to look at my phone for when a call is going to come and be like, oh, she's at the store today. Go bang at the door and go rattle at the door and go be friends. Like, nobody's going to control me like that to tell me that they're going to feed me just enough to stay alive. That kind of stuff is crazy to me. So it's like people who live like that and they think that that's okay. We are operating on different operating systems and that's fine. But I'm talking to people who don't think this is okay. I'm talking to people who have an issue with being controlled, being dominated. An issue with somebody having your survival in their hands. An issue with somebody when the little demons in their head start provoking them is just going to start for no reason, start attacking you. To live your life in fear, couldn't be me. And it won't be me. Ever. It'll be them before it's me. Every single time. So listen, at the end of the day, I did not start the journey like this. I always had that streak in me though. I've always been like that. I always march to the beat of my own drum. That's why you see my hair like this. That's why you see me with a ball hat. You will not see me with a wig. You will not see me with makeup. You will not see me with any of the above. Every time I have to wear makeup, it's a chore. And I'm doing it because I'm like, I'm going to somewhere formal. Let me da 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 da. I think I'm perfect without it right now. I think I'm fine. I think I'm beautiful without it. To tell you the truth, I could care less. Who doesn't agree? Go find where you agree and find who you think is beautiful. That's a you problem. You cannot convince me otherwise. People can't convince me of stuff. That's the other problem that they have with me. I cannot be convinced. I believe myself. I believe my own brain. So at the end of the day, for me, I would prefer to live like this 10 times over. I'm happy. You should see me snuggle up in bed at night. I feel great. I'm being serious too. I feel great. I feel great. And you know, I'm a person who talks to spirits too. So it's like, you definitely can't make me lonely, and you can't like isolate me out of people's groups, and you can't exclude me, and you can't make me feel like, oh, all the other people talk to each other, they don't talk to me. What? Perfect. Perfect. That's how I feel. You know, so at the end of the day, I know not everybody's gonna agree with me and my mentality, and not everybody's gonna see things my way. But I'm just gonna say this. If you're gonna be stranded on that island, start making friends. You know, find you a little goat, find you a little pig, start rearing animals, put a little flower in front of your hut, chill out for a bit, eat some coconut rice and some roasted fish, watch the sunset, go bathe in the sea, chill, get to know yourself, get some abs, work out, run, get a routine going. That's how you approach these kind of things. Like, don't bother approaching life in any sort of woe is me, how did this happen to me, victim mentality. That's how you turn into a John Ferreira. Now you're blaming the world for things that happened when you were 8, things that happened when you were 16. Da, 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 da. You ate all the food voluntarily, but you're mad that you're fat. Everybody's always the bad guy. You didn't do anything. Meantime, you're the most malicious, evil, underhanded, doing things behind people's back type of jealous person there exists, has ever existed. If you show me anybody, listen, you show me anybody who's more jealous and who's a bigger hater, I would love to see it. I need to see it. I have never seen anything crazier in my entire life. Never seen anything crazier in my entire life. Never seen anything like it. I cannot believe. And every time I see a reading that says something crazy again, it's like, and then I see more ads pop up on my phone or my computer. Even the YouTube has ads that I know are just like, y'all, one time I seen an ad for heroin addiction. Who is on my computer that's addicted to heroin? Craziness, man. But it's like, there's a lot of stuff over there to resolve, you know. Too much going on. Too much going on. And you know, sometimes I'm like, I don't even like when readers are sympathetic to the situation, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe things gotta be really bad for you to smoke heroin or sniff it or whatever you do with heroin. Maybe things have to be bad. I don't know. But it's like, you have the ability to make money and you have a family and you can buy things because it's things that these people like. Like, what is always the problem? What is there more? How do you look at people with less earning potential than you and get mad at that? Like, what is always the issue? I don't get it. sometimes you just have to also check yourself. Like, and what, like, I may think I'm great, but like, what am I missing here? Because when I had that forgiveness conversation took us a whole day. And when I had that conversation, I was looking at myself like, wait, what am I missing here? Like, what am I not seeing? Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. Maybe there's something I'm not acknowledging, you know? Even though I want to think I'm perfect, I actually know I'm not. I know I'm very not perfect, you know? But I just like myself. I love myself. But it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I have to sit back and I have to say, like, what happened here? There's so many times I'm thinking to myself, like, what happened with this person to make this person the way they are? Because this is a very far way away from normal. Like, this is really far from normal, these kinds of behaviors, and to have so many addictions and so many afflictions, it's crazy to me. But that being the case, I don't know. I guess my parting message is, it's totally normal to question God. Like, this is not the Jesus story, I'd say, where it's like giving a perfect sort of scenario for people. It's totally normal to question God. It's totally normal, respectfully, have respect. But it's totally normal to also say, I don't understand the situation. I don't understand my role in it. I don't understand how I got here. I think that's also normal as well. And I think it's also normal to just be in an uncomfortable space and take your time and take it day by day. As long as you're working through it, I think God is happy with that, because it'll take baby steps to get where you have to go. It took a year for me to find myself clear of this situation. I do consider myself clear of it. Anytime they get an opening, they are going to take it. They're going to follow me around. They're going to whatever. Now, I give this advice to people, like, don't tap your card. Don't take your phone. Sometimes I take my phone and I tap my card all over the place. I don't really care. Like, the most you're going to do is you're going to come into the store and you're talking to somebody in the store. I'm going to continue talking to the person until I'm done. I'm going to have a great day and I'm going to leave. What are we going to do? You're going to watch me buy my food. And I'm going to sit there and eat the food. Like, what are we going to do? I'm going to pump my gas and you're going to sit there and watch me pump. Like, there's only so much that they can't. What are they going to do? They're going to come and put their hand between the gas nozzle and be like, no, don't pump. Like, it's like, it is what it is, right? I'm at the point I don't care. So it's like, am I taking my own advice? Sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I'm like, whatever, But it took a year to get here. I had to hold on for a year. Hold on without raising my hands in retaliation. Is that really, when you start fighting fire with fire like that, no matter what I say, once you start fighting fire with fire, you kind of change as well. You turn yourself. You turn into something else. And it's not to say I'm not angry. It's not to say that things are not going to go my way according to how I've prayed. Of course they are. They always do. But that spell work stuff, I don't recommend black magic at all. At all. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. Don't step into the dark arts. It goes one way every time. You do not want to block yourself from God. You do not want to do that at all. Tough life. Tough life. You're working with energies that are liars. You're working with energies that are transactional, and you're working with energies that hate you, that hate people. So they're going to take every opportunity. People don't know how lucky they are. Human beings do not understand how lucky we are. That we get to be close to God if we choose. That we get to have unconditional love from God. That we have favor. And the one thing that we have is emotions. And I know, like I said, I feel like mother has emotions, but I feel like divine beings have emotions, but I can't tell. I've never really gone through it with lower energies like that to be able to say, but it's like they don't really come off as very emotional. they come off as stoic. They come off as stoic. They communicate in vibrations and in energy, and that's how you know what they're feeling, but they don't, it's not like they're over there laughing and smiling or like having expressions. Like, it's not like that. Where we can have that, we can have a very full range of emotions. We have a unique experience where we can feel things fully. We feel emotions very, very strongly. So it's like we have an advantage spiritually. Like, that's your power. If people try to tell you not to use your emotions, not to catch feelings, your feelings are powerful. Your imagination is your magic. Don't like listen to nobody. They're trying to like keep everything to themselves. And what is crazy? There's mentally ill, which is demonic possession, in my opinion, because people keep thinking of demonic possession as like something that it's not. Like, they think of it like little goblins and ghouls and like scary creatures and whatever. It's like, it's that too, but like, it's literally just energies that attach to you. So when you're mentally unwell, it's because you have too many attachments. You got to get rid of them. You got to cleanse them. You got to heal them. But crazy is where the magic is. If people call you crazy, that's totally fine. Crazy is where you build a plane where no one's ever flown a plane before. Where did you even get the idea that a hunk of metal can fly? That's crazy. So I'm sure they're calling me crazy. That's where the magic is. I might be crazy, but I'm not in the gang, and they can't do shit to me. So, who's really crazy? Maybe you need a little bit of craziness because you're in hell. You're a slave. And for people, and especially for Black people, and there's so many Black people in this, I always say to myself, I'm like, listen, that the drug muling situation is the second coming of slavery. And y'all watch all these movies and Black people are like, oh, if I was there and blah, blah, blah. Well, you are there. You are there. And you failed again, a second time. You failed. So I'm not going to be a slave. I'm going to be free. If you want freedom, you're going to have to fight for it. And it's going to cost you something. Stop thinking of the wrong things. There's no God is not where we're supposed to go with this. How do I get out of this is the question that you're supposed to be asking yourself. Not about if there's a God or if there's not a God. How do I get out of it? This question of if there's a God or if there's not a God, hopefully people who look at my situation should see that there is a God. Even though they've painted a situation where it's like, oh, you and I didn't help because I told people they could go see my ancestors in hell. I definitely did not help saying some of the stuff that I said. Listen, spirituality, not religion. It's different. Religion is gonna be all the little perfect blah blah blah. Spirituality is a much bigger ocean. It is not the same thing. So, whatever I said in the heat of being pissed off, I don't have a Jesus complex. I don't have to be perfect, even though people have put me on that pedestal because I'm very kind and soft-hearted and nice and warm and friendly. It's like, yeah, I could see why you didn't expect that side of me. I too can see it. Because most days I'm very chill. And most days I really do come off like, love and light and skipping through the fields with my flower dress, picking flowers. I definitely give off that vibe, and being Black doesn't help. They definitely think I'm stupid, and being shaped the way and having the shape that I have, definitely makes them think I'm like some type of gold digger tramp who's vapid and doesn't have a soul. Like, I get it, but that's your problem. That's sorry you thought that. I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to say. I am the opposite of all of those things. So, if I'm crazy, so be it. And if I never beat the Dark Witch allegations, also, so be it. My energy is very warm. Energy doesn't lie. I'm not an evil person. I don't know how to do spell work, and I probably never will. And no offense, I just think it's beneath me personally. I just don't have to engage in stuff like that, and so I don't. Um, I don't know what to say for the people who have to do spell work. Tap into God. That's like the master spell. Tap into God. Tap into Mother. Find her. Heal. And healing is not easy, so don't let me make you think it's easy. I'm going through my healing right now, and I'm reminded once again, it is not easy. It is difficult. Wrapping my head around forgiving is so... The thought of it pisses me off. But it's... You know what? People are still going to get their karma regardless. People are getting their karma regardless. I'm still going to get justice regardless. And still, it's like something about this forgiveness thing is difficult. So I am not here to judge people who can't forgive. I don't know what happens to people. But what happened to me was so bad, so abusive for a full year. I'm so grateful I can smile about it. If I didn't have God, I wouldn't be able to smile about it at all. Maybe it would have felt worse. It would have gone worse. Who knows? But whoever's watching this right now, I always say I'm going to do 30 minutes. I don't end up. Anyway, whoever's watching this right now, God hears every prayer, but you got to send the prayer up. You have to send the prayer up. You have to not forget to pray things. They don't happen on their own. You got to pray for them. Okay? Send the prayer up. God hears every prayer. Take time out for God. Start once a day. Start twice a day. You need twice. For everything, you need twice. You need to pray. Start meditating, spending time with yourself. Relaxing into your situation. Relax into your situation. It's happening either way. Relax into it. And just know, like, you're here for a reason. There are things to learn. I have never learned more lessons than in the past year. So many lessons. Insane. That is 10 years worth of lessons that I learned in 1 year. And I ranked up really fast. Really fast. It probably takes a lifetime to rank up the way that I ranked up. So you got to have patience with yourself, but please, in your questioning, just be respectful and ask the questions and be respectful and be like, listen, respectfully, I don't appreciate the position I'm in. Respectfully, I don't think I deserve this. Why do I deserve this? Why is this happening? But have the conversation, because God will give you the answers. And look for the answers. The answers will come. They will come all the time. The answers, you are not tapped in yet enough to get the answers in the way that you think. You think that you're going to hear, some voice in your head. Hopefully you don't hear a voice in your head when you're not tapped in. That's not good. But you think you're going to hear a voice in your head that's going to answer you? No. What might happen is you might turn to a page in a book and you might find an article that explains it. You might find an ad somewhere. You might see something somewhere. Something will come to you. You might see a meme. And that same issue that you're struggling with becomes the issue that you got the answer. And I remember one time I was struggling with like humanity. I was like, what is wrong with people? I kid you not. I was trying to get God to admit that she didn't like you guys. Because I didn't like you guys. I was like, what is this? What happened here? And it was explained to me like very quickly after. I came upon a passage in the Bible. And it basically said God just understands why people behave the way that they do. God understands people. And so now I'm at a point where I understand people. Because in the beginning I was like, this is insane. I do not like people. Like, what? This is how people behave? They're evil. But I had to go through the whole thing to understand people. So it's like now I understand that people were being bullied. I understand that people were being threatened. I understood what people were going through because I went through it myself. So I understood why people would have given up like a long time ago. I understood it. So that being the case, it's like now I don't have to look at people as bad people necessarily. I can just say, I understand people. I understand where they're coming from. Doesn't make it good, doesn't make it okay. They're still responsible for their actions, but I understand why. And that's why I can be more compassionate now. Were I making these lives 6 months in, oh my goodness, I would be at a totally different place with human beings. Like, oh my God, you people are capable of doing craziness, but it is what it is. Everything's happening for a reason. Whether I understand it all or not, I do know that my anger is going to get in my way, and I shouldn't be looking at the world through that lens. And I don't want to morph into something that I am not. And these messages will not stop. These messages of forgiveness will not stop. But I know this is my first step. My first step is I can forget, I can release the anger. And then I can, I don't know what the next step is going to be, but I figure maybe I've already accepted the situation for what it is. I'm working through my anger at it happening to me. And then I can work through the other stuff and just accept things as they are. So I'm going to close out my video now, my live now. I just do want to say before I leave this video, anything that is being pulled out of your hands, be it money, be it friendships, be it people betraying you who you've known your whole life, or who you've maybe had bonds with, or maybe you felt like you guys were there for each other at a time when you had nothing. All of that is being purged out for a reason, and you're going to find out why. Trust the process. It is a difficult process. I am telling you, I know. So I'm not just saying that. I have no one. And not because people are not banging at the door of my life trying to get back in. But I have no one. I've released everyone for my own safety and my own well-being and my own good. And you know what, honestly, I kind of always wanted to do this low-key. I kind of always used to have like low-key fantasies about getting rid of everyone and like moving to another country and just like living my life and then I'm like, and when I move, I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm not gonna be in contact with anyone. It's been a fantasy. Why am I like this? I have no idea. I don't know why I've always been like this, but it's like, for me, low-key, it's like it finally happened. It's like I finally had permission. The last time I felt this good about something? During COVID. Because I worked so hard. And during COVID, it was like, we don't have to leave the house. We could stay home all the time. And all people were doing were complaining about, oh, I want to go outside. I'm like, what? I never have to leave again. I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. And especially, I can just do my work from my bed, from my phone, and not have to get out. This is amazing. I loved it. I loved COVID. That's why I got fat. No, I got fat because of spell work. But still, I was getting a little chubby of my own. Like, I was just, what? Had a whole schedule. Cooking down the place. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm catching up on this thing I want to do and that thing I want to do. And now I'm into tarot, and now I'm into like spirituality, and on more of a like intellectual level, more of an academic level, I should say. So it's like I'm really looking into certain things deeper than I was. It's no longer just about me. I'm learning all of these things. And, on top of it, it's like, don't think I'm crazy, but, my ancestors are in here. Mother's here. I'm like talking to spirits all days. I'm laughing with myself. Like, I don't know. It's like peaceful. I don't get this with people. I don't get this with people. I don't, So it's like, and my house is peaceful. With my family, we are at peace all the time. It's always peaceful. The cat's never like this until I get on live. He's never like this. He just gets like this randomly. But anyways, make peace with your situation no matter what it is. Take time with yourself. There's a purpose for everything that is happening. And if you feel the call for you to walk away from this, don't let it get louder, and don't find yourself trapped deeper into a situation that's worsening, listen to your gut, listen to your soul, leave. And for other tips and tricks, go to my YouTube and make sure you put a lock on your SIM card. Put a lock on your SIM card whether or not you want to leave the cult. Call your company and put a lock on your SIM card so people don't listen to your conversations and hang up your calls on you. I used my daughter's phone the other day, and I was making a call and the call just went blank. I'm like, oh hell no, this is how people. No, I had to use my phone again. Put a lock on your SIM card regardless. Leave the phone at home and walk with cash regardless of if you think you're being watched or not. Everybody in that cult is being watched. They don't trust nobody, and John Ferrer is not capable of liking people. It's just not built into that bot, that program. There's no part of that program that has love or like. It's a shapeshifter. It will shapeshift in whatever it needs to be in order to get you to agree to things that you probably normally would not agree to. It is a shapeshifter. I know this for a fact. Take my word. I've seen it shapeshift. So, that being the case, have yourself a wonderful evening. And I always tell myself I'll do this more often, but right now we're at 1:60. So yeah, let me go and relax for the night. And check out my YouTube. It's called God's Way 1019. God's space way 1019. Have a good night.